guys, welcome back. It is your girl Joy. Sorry I took a little break. Been going through a lot of life changes, but we are here. So, you're gonna come and sit with me for a little bit and just talk. Can you believe we're already more than halfway through the year? Yeah, it's July now. I don't know about you, but every July I have this moment where I stop and think and sit for a moment. Like, what actually happened these past few months, like January through June? Can I say it's been a roller coaster of emotions, a roller coaster of changes, everything and anything. So today we're gonna do a honest mid-year check-in. Like not an Instagram version, with the highlight reels and whatnot, and not the times where everything magically checked out. It's going to be a real clean version because I think sometimes we need someone to remind us that growth isn't pretty, and that's okay. So, if you are new here, make sure you like, subscribe, and you know, are aware that I post a video every Sunday. Try to at least. And it's just all girls chats, everything in that. So make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and stay tuned because we have a lot to Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to Joy Serendipity. If you're new here, definitely subscribe. You won't regret it. Welcome back. So, the first 6 months, January through June, I will say the past year, starting December, is when I felt like my life was just thrown. Like, it was like tragedy after tragedy. And I had to pretend like everything was okay. Like, I was just wondering, like, why is everything going wrong? Which, in hindsight, everything had to go wrong in order for me to be where I am today. You know what I'm saying? The first 6 months, they haven't looked anything like I imagined they would be. Yeah, especially at this age. There were moments I felt incredibly hopeful, and there were moments where I was like, this is finally my season. But then there were moments where I questioned everything. I've dealt with disappointment this year. I've dealt with a lot of waiting and kind of still waiting, like a lot of waiting. And I've had days where I wondered if I was actually making progress or I'm just standing in the same place, like standing still. But here's what I've learned. Just because your life doesn't look different yet doesn't mean you aren't different. Because trust me, I've changed a lot in this season of waiting. So yeah, one of the biggest wins I would say this year wasn't something you could post online. It was something, that is very personal to me. It was becoming someone who didn't abandon herself, because there were times where I was tried this year. And I've been learning to choose myself a lot, putting up more boundaries, because I definitely need to do that. And last year really pushed me to the point where it was like, okay, it's time for some boundaries. So I created healthy boundaries. I stopped chasing people who weren't choosing me, which I'm being tested again this year. And I keep showing up even if life feels uncertain, which it kind of feels that way now, but lesson learned. Honestly, that's the hardest thing, and it's harder than checking off goals, because changing your habits means changing your identity, and that's very uncomfortable, especially for me. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that everything's been super easy. There have been a lot of days that I've cried, which I struggle with. There have been days where I've been very discouraged. Some days I'm tired right now, guys. Some days I wondered if God had forgotten about me, which I struggled with that a lot last year too. But every difficult season has still been teaching me something, even when I couldn't see it. Hindsight is something, right? So this is a reminder that the glow up isn't always visible. I think social media has convinced us that a glow up always looks like a new body or new clothes or, a luxury apartment, a promotion, a relationship. And don't get me wrong, I love all those things. Amazing, cool. That's like the goal. But I think the most beautiful glow ups happen quietly, and it's choosing peace over proving yourself. Like me saying no without apologizing. I grew up, or I was kind of raised and pushed to be a people pleaser. Once I separated myself from those people, that went out the door. So it was me walking away from people who only appreciated me when I overextended myself, which I do struggle with. It was learning my worth isn't determined by who's texting me back. Still a lesson we're all learning. It's, healing to stop repeating the same cycle. And for me, one of the biggest glow ups has been learning that waiting doesn't mean I'm being punished. That's a lesson that I'm still learning quite to this day. Sometimes we are so focused on getting the next blessing that we forget we're becoming someone who can actually sustain it. I realized that I don't want temporary happiness anymore, because as quick as you can get it is as quick as it can be snatched away from you. I want a lasting peace. I want confidence that isn't dependent on compliments. I want joy. I want joy that doesn't disappear when life is getting hard. That's my kind of glow up, something that can't be taken away from you because it's internal. And eventually, it starts to show on the outside too. The amount of compliments I've received once I let go of people who were draining me. Oh my goodness, Joy, you're glowing. I'm like, and it was because I released stuff that isn't meant for me. So we're in the middle of summer, and this is what I'm releasing this summer. I've been asking myself this question lately. What would my life look like if I stopped carrying things that no longer belong to me? And here are a few things that I'm releasing this good old July, because we're only on July 5th. This may come out next week, I think. Yeah, this video. So I'm letting go of the pressure to have everything figured out. That's something I struggled with. I had this whole plan, like, oh my goodness, like just everything go to plan, this, and life has this funny way of laughing at you. So, life is not a race, and I'm done comparing my timeline to everyone else's highlight reel. Second, I'm releasing people pleasing, which is one of my worst traits ever. Okay? Something I need to heal from childhood. I don't want to spend another season shrinking myself just to make people comfortable. The people meant for me won't require me to become someone else. The third thing I'm letting go of is I'm letting go of the belief that my value comes from productivity. Rest is productive. I have always been the type, maybe it's because I was surrounded by workaholics. But yeah, I've always been a type like, oh my goodness, I have to continue working. If not, then I'm just being lazy, this and that. So rest and healing are productive. And existing without earning your worth. We live in the capitalism, and I can go on and on about that, in a society that's always about the hustle and bustle. We need to start prioritizing our health, mental health, physical health. So I want you guys to look at your own list. What is one thing you've been carrying that's making your life heavier than it needs to be? Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's guilt. Maybe it's a relationship that's keeping you stuck. Maybe it's perfectionism. I struggle with that. Whatever it is, though, you don't have to carry it into your next season. You have the rest of the year to become the person that makes you the most happy. So intentions are for your second half of the year, July through December, which October through January happen to be my favorite time of the year. But yeah. Instead of making another endless list of goals, I'm choosing intentions, because this isn't about becoming someone completely different. It's about becoming more of who I already am. So my first intention, I want to live with confidence instead of constant self-doubt. Not because I will suddenly have all the answers that I need in order to thrive, But because I trust myself more than I did 6 months ago. If you would have met me 6 months ago, I was like a completely different person. Second, I want to be fully present, so less rushing and worrying about what's next. That's my problem. I worry about, oh my goodness, this has to be this, to where I can enjoy moments. So I want to be more appreciative of where I'm already at, because I don't want to miss this chapter waiting for my next chapter, and that's one of my other intentions. Finally, I want to lead with courage. There are things I have been praying for, and there have been like a lot of dreams that I've been sitting on. There have been conversations I've been avoiding. So the rest of this year, this season, I want the courage to be louder than my fear. Notice how none of those intentions have numbers attached. They're about who I want to become, not just what I want to accomplish. Your goals are going to change, but your character stays with you. So if you're doing your mid-year reset, don't just ask yourself, what do I want? What, like, job, da da da, this and that. Ask yourself, who do I want to be by the end of this year? The question changes everything. So if no one has told you lately, I'm proud of you. Not because you've done everything perfectly, but that you're still here. You're still trying, you're still growing, and that is definitely something worth celebrating. If this conversation resonated with you, I want to tell you I'm proud of you. I want you to tell me in the comments what's one thing you are releasing this summer. I genuinely read every single comment. I love hearing your stories. And also, again, if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe, because every week we're having the big sister chats about healing and relationships and confidence, becoming your best self and building the life that you want. So thank you again for spending this time with me, and take care of yourself this week. Do something for yourself while the sun's out. Remember that your glow up doesn't have to look loud to be real. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.